Download this, let's get a Billboard #1.
This is a call for vengeance. Welcome to today's show. Facts. This is what shilling looks like. Now, most people out there hear the word shill, and I've even been accused of being a shill because a lot of times people, when they don't like another person or they get jealous here on YouTube or in other platforms, automatically call somebody a shill because they don't like them. But the reality is what a shill is a gatekeeper. Okay? So when I'm covering Tom MacDonald, not because I'm jealous of Tom MacDonald. Trust me, when you see Tom MacDonald, okay, it's pretty hard to be jealous of Tom MacDonald. I'm embarrassed for Tom MacDonald, and I'm more embarrassed for people that don't realize that Tom MacDonald, Ben Shapiro, etc., are all agents. Okay? So what they do is they use these people and they put them out there and use the same MK Ultra tactics as we see done on the Democrats, on the liberals, right? We see all the celebrities who are all love wins and all this stuff. And then, of course, everybody follows suit. They're influenced by them and their behavior is engineered by them. The same thing happens on the right. And that's why all these people on the right have been placed there, right? We look at Russell Brand. We look at the Daily Wire, right? Coming out here saying that they're fighting against communism, etc., but they're using the same communist propaganda tools to work in and herd the conservative people. The same thing happening on both sides, right? Daily Wire is putting out movies, right? Getting people all worked up over the trans stuff, not realizing that our government's doing this by design. They're trying to drive people so insane with the other side that they're going to be willing to part ways with them and separate into two separate countries. And that is what this is headed towards. People like Tom MacDonald and Ben Shapiro are there to do that. They're also there to influence how the conservative party, have you noticed how all of a sudden liberals, the same people who would say anything you say against Israel is anti-Semitic, the same exact people are now allowed to question Israel or now, at least are now allowed to publicly criticize them because they're using Israel and Palestine as part of the left-right herding mechanism, right? So if you don't understand what that means, it means that if you're a conservative, you have to side with Israel. If you're a Democrat, you have to side with Palestine. They're doing all of this by design because what's happening is a psychological operation and it's being used for more than people think. But people can't think, and that's the problem. And it's because of people like Tom MacDonald, because they come out, they act the way they act, and they say the things that people want to hear. So people have a tough time differentiating between someone like myself and someone like Tom MacDonald. And I can't go through, I can go through and sit here and talk about censorship and all that stuff, but it's not worth the time of day. All you have to do is look at what these people are doing, right? We have them rapping, just like the Daily Wire, going out and making feature films. We have guys who are pretending to be like, oh, I'm an alternative to all these Hollywood liberal people who are giving you this, woke crap. We're going to give you a different side. But in reality, all of it is mind control. Movies in general. That's what the whole initiation of films was used as propaganda. Okay? When we look at the introduction of television into our society, it was used as a tool of propaganda. Now it's used everything out there is propaganda. Everything on both sides is propaganda. And people can't see into the left-right paradigm. So, that being said, let me start with this. They have a music video out called Facts. It is extremely cringy. Okay? It's the type of stuff that makes you embarrassed to be human. I will play a little verse here of Ben Shapiro rapping. Okay? And people should be looking at this saying, this is embarrassing. These are the people who are, again, they're gatekeeping you into thinking that you're a part of a revolution by going away from Democrats, by making fun of these people, by using topics that can lure you in, like what is a man and what is a woman. This is all strategically done. What do you think? The government doesn't know what they're doing? They've been mastering mind control for the last 100 years. They've been doing every single experiment you could possibly imagine since Operation Paperclip was rolled into this country on the human brain. Okay, what do you think? That they don't know that people are going to be like not accepting of this what is a man, what is a woman stuff? They're doing it by design. This is part of the Communist Manifesto. So in order, if you watch the video I put up yesterday from that 1958 speech, in order to bring about a civil war, there has to be two sides, right? There have to be people who are emerging on each side as figures of each thing, right? Both sides think they're oppressed. Both sides are trying to act like revolutionaries, but both sides are part of the trap. So here's a clip of Ben Shapiro rapping. Then we'll get into more of the stuff with Tom MacDonald. But listen to some of the stuff that they say. It is so embarrassing. I can't, look, people out there want to question me. They used to question me because I was really popular at one point in time, and I understood why they questioned me. because the channel blew up and I didn't think so many people would want to hear me speak, but they did. Okay? So I get that. But if I ever came out with a rap video or a music video, or I was starring in a movie, or I was telling you that I'm going to make a fictional movie and act in it, okay, you could come over and punch me in the gonads. Okay? This is as embarrassing as it gets. Here's Shapiro, who tells anybody who out there who's conservative, you don't stand with Israel, okay, you're an enemy to God. Listen to this clown.
I don't wanna talk to folks who don't get it. Go woke, go broke. Pro-choice pronouns, pro-love, you're progressive. But you ain't pro-gun, no one to protect it.
I've got the facts, my money like Lizzo, my pockets are fat. It's a yarmulke, homie, no cap. Hating on me on the internet, my comment section all woke Karens. Just y'all live with your parents. All my people, download this, let's get a Billboard #1.
So some of the lyrics in the song reference woke Karens. Of course, they talk about all of this stuff that are hot topic points that they're using for the left-right divide, right? And again, I'm not siding with liberals. Obviously, I'm anti all this gender stuff, but this is mind control. Okay, what's happening is a massive MK Ultra. It's not even an experiment anymore. It's an operation on everybody, right? So think about the advent of technology. They couldn't have done this 30 years ago because people watched TV, but they sparingly watched it. People actually had lives outside of the television. Now, people are hooked to their technology 24/7, which means that they're hooked to propaganda 24/7, which means that the government can create a fake illusion in your mind of what's happening in the world. They're creating all of these things. They're making all of these things up while gaslighting everybody into it. Okay? That's what's occurring here. So people like McDonald, old McDonald here, are gatekeepers. And I've shown videos in the past. If you don't know who Tom McDonald is, Tom McDonald is pushed as this conservative, independent rapper who's apparently censored, even though he gets millions of views on YouTube. So censored, right? And again, I don't say that because I'm jealous or anything like that. If they want speech silence, they silence it. And we know what they want silence is you figuring out how psychological operations work. They don't want you to realize that part of this entire thing, just as much as everybody makes fun of the liberals, is that the conservatives are also under mind control by design. If people pull out of all of it, they lose. How? Because the people don't give into this anymore. They don't buy into it. They're literally hurting people by doing the things that they're doing, and they don't even realize it. They think they're making independent decisions, and they're not. So let's just go through some of the photos of Tom McDonald, right? Tom McDonald has tweeted out pictures of himself where he's saying, oh, I'm going to put something on one of my videos on YouTube now. Oh, no, he's just wearing the Baphomet on his shirt, holding up devil horns, right? And people out there are actually going to just say, oh, it's not really a big deal that he's got the devil horn. Holding up devil horns with the Baphomet on his shirt. And it's not the only time that this guy has worn paraphernalia or whatever you want to call it, t-shirts with, this type of stuff on it. He's worn satanic shirts over and over again. You could see some of them even with upside down crucifixes on it. But his audience will say, well, he's just an artist, right? Because they think that they're awake, but they're not awake. That's part of the problem here. Okay, they don't realize that they're just as hive-minded as the other side. But they think that they know what's going on because they're at least somewhat normal. They know all this gender stuff is crazy, but they don't understand why it's happening. They think that this is organically happening. They're like, everybody's just gone nuts. Okay, it's not. It's deeper than that. They're doing it deliberately. You don't think that the government, you think that they're really on board with these people that they claim to support? It's just like the narrative of the border. Okay, all of these guys were like, Biden had spoken so many times over about the protection of the border. Everybody thinks what's going on at the border is about what's coming up in the elections. Like they're letting them in because they're going to vote Democrat, right? That's not what it's actually about. It's being used as a mechanism to divide Republicans and Democrats into states. It's going to be two separate countries. The voting doesn't count. It's never counted. Now, will they use a psyop with that? Of course they will. Because there's a good chance that they could tell everybody that Biden wins and everybody goes, that's not even humanly possible. Nobody would ever vote for him. And again, those are things I'll get into later on. But this guy McDonald fits in to exactly the problem in our society, right? Is that people think that these people are speaking on their behalf, that they're, advocates of freedom. So he throws up devil horns. He's got videos where he's got demonically possessed eyes. These are all the same things that I show you with all of these Satanists in Hollywood, right? The finger over the mouth. Okay, that's the vow of silence that he's doing, showing the vow of silence. Of course, he constantly talks about censorship and Russell Brand. This is part of the psyop, okay? Think about Donald Trump. He's gaining momentum in people's minds because they're saying, wow, the government really hates him. The government is deliberately acting as wicked and as bad as they can Okay, well, we're hiring IRS agents to come after you, so they're gaslighting everyone. Oh, and the government, and they are coming after us. There's no doubt about it. But these stories, why would they ever tell you that they're hiring more IRS agents? How would you know? You wouldn't know unless they wanted you to know. How would you know what's going on at the border unless they wanted you to know? Okay, so everything they tell you is because they want you to know that, right? So when they victimize Trump and they make it seem like, wow, this crazy, sick government is going after this guy, putting him on trial, of course nothing happens. He isn't going to jail. His role is way bigger than that. So they make everybody get more support for him, because when you make him a victim like that, it garners support. And then, of course, they did the same thing with the conservative media, right? People like me, people like some of your other favorite YouTubers in the past have all been removed from every single platform, have to constantly come back, right? But they know that that makes people go, oh, wow. Well, I guess that guy really was telling the truth. They're really silencing those guys. So what do? Russell Brand claims to be censored in silence. Tom McDonald claims to be censored. Tucker Carlson claims to be censored, thrown off of Fox News, right? All of this stuff is being done by design. You're putting trust in people who are going to lead you in the wrong direction. And that's what I'm fearful of with the Civil Wars, leading you to be sitting ducks. And everyone will go, well, it's better than living amongst those people, is it? You might be safer infiltrating Democratic states than living in these conservative honeypots, okay? Because you're going to be sitting ducks in those states for attack after attack after attack, okay? And they've told us this, they show us this with predictive programming, which is why we have to pay attention to these things. So back to these clowns, right? What he represents is the typical, what they want the conservatives to be, right? Holding up the American flag, screaming that they're patriots, right? They look like lunatics, okay? They look like absolute, they all look the same. They're literally the same way I talk about when you see someone with blue hair, you could identify their politics. You could do the same with conservatives, which tells us that these are operations, okay, that they're using on people. They're literally convincing people how to look, how to talk, how to act, where you can look at them and know, right? You look at Tom McDonald and his friends holding up the flags. They're holding up a flag. They must be conservatives. They must be patriots. They call themselves patriots. This is all part of the psychological operation. Tom McDonald and these people are there to bring to herd and bring about what is to come with the civil unrest. These people out there should be going, okay, wait a minute. Let's talk about the CIA. Let's talk about the basics. Let's talk about mind control, how it works. But again, they don't feel like they're under mind control. They only feel like Democrats are. But they both are. This thing is compromised. It's done. The conservative party is compromised. Every one of these guys that you hear about on national television that are conservative talking heads like Ben Shapiro are compromised. They all sit there. They're all being funded and paid for out of Tel Aviv. Okay? We know who they are, who they're shilling for. Can't even say that the name. I'm surprised I said it a couple times in here, but at this point, I'm willing to take the hit. Okay? Just so people understand what I'm saying, especially if they're new. Right? They all take their orders out of Israel. Okay? Both sides do. And they're working together to do this. They're making everything a division mechanism. Everything. So these are your idols on the conservative side. Guys like him. They hate me because I'm organically popular and I'm doing this stuff. And he raps about all the issues that drive people crazy, which is done by design. This is MK Ultra being done on conservatives. It's being done on both sides. So if people focused on that, and they realize that these guys were all compromised, that's what they fear most, is you breaking away from the left-right paradigm, okay? I get censored on here, and the people who actually listen to me know that I am not a supporter of Donald Trump. I'm not a supporter of any of them, right? And then they forget that when I get censored, and they think I'm just some MAGA guy talking about this. And so the problem that I have is that I'm exposing to you psychological operations. I'm explaining to you about being stuck in an echo chamber. Right? There's a liberal echo chamber and a conservative one. And all of these characters that are cast around it are there to hurt you. People should be looking at, the Daily Wire, and they're like, the Daily Wire, finally, they have their own platform of truth, and they're not censored, and they don't censor anyone else, and they're saying the things that I want to hear. Then they're making movies. The core of movies is mind control and MK Ultra. They're not there to entertain you. Surprise, surprise. If you still think that movies are made to entertain you, you don't have a clue yet. And if you're conservative, you're like, well, I'm awake to all this stuff, but I still love this and still like that. That's fine if you're still tied into things, because that's how psychological operations work. We all grew up watching these programs, and they don't even realize how it influences you in one way or the other. And people are so narcissistic now, they can't see that and say, hey, I was influenced by this. They go, I just watched Disney. It didn't influence me in any way, shape, or form. I just watched this. It didn't influence me, because they can't sit there and admit to that, because it's human nature to not think that somebody's controlling your thoughts. But everybody's being controlled. That's the point. They can't do this without having the conservatives herded into a vacuum. Otherwise, there'd be a revolution. There'd be an uprising. There'd be fight against this, right? There'd be a massive fight against this. And these are the clowns that are in place. So this is called facts. But the facts are that these are shills. This is how they operate. They keep you in the conservative hive mind. Ben Shapiro is one of the worst out there. He's one of the cringiest. I don't say, again, if you're out there and you think I'm saying this stuff because I'm jealous, think again. I couldn't care less. If I wanted attention, I wanted to be popular, I'd show my face. I'd go out there. I would talk about this stuff, and I probably have a much bigger following. I don't want the attention. I want you to come out of her. I want you to come out of the illusion that you're living in. These people are puppeteers. That's what their job is. People don't think that psychological operations are real. They can't even comprehend what it is. Okay? If you didn't hear any of this stuff going on the news, if you didn't hear any, you wouldn't know what was going on. Would you know about wars over there and borders over here and trucker convoys there? No, you wouldn't. You would live your life unbothered, because people would naturally live among each other and they wouldn't care about these types of issues because they're the ones that make you care about it. Just like liberals, there wouldn't be this trans stuff unless it was all planted in their head. There wouldn't be this huge movement where everybody's suddenly gay unless there was mind control used on them. Okay? It happens on both sides. So I'm going to do deeper dives on the podcast that I'm working on building about psychological operations. And the goal is to reach more people. The goal is to get people to realize how their brains work. How, they've studied the brain, right? We just are like, oh yeah, we're up. This is our day. This is what we do. We don't even say, why do I think this way? Why am I dressing this way? It's all through influence. It's all through mind control. And people are like, well, if that's through mind control, then I'm under mind control. I don't really care, right? Why people are so depressed, why people are so miserable. It's more to do, we know about the chemtrails, we know about the chemicals, we know about the radiation from the 5G towers, but a lot of it is also psychological, of the things that they make you subconsciously strive to achieve, the way they make you feel this or make you feel that. That's all done by design. It's a huge experiment that they were doing and testing on Americans. Now it's on the world, obviously with the way technology is now, but now it's in everything, every single thing. There's nothing on the news that's there unless they want it there. And if anything happens, again, organically, it has to have an agenda tied into it for them to talk about it, okay? This is all being done by design. They're creating an illusion of what's happening right now in your mind so that they can manipulate you where they want you to go and how they want to go about not just the civil division, two separate countries, but also so you could be a sitting duck for them for attack after attack after attack. And they use people like Tom McDonald. They make him famous. They make him popular because they know that the things that he says and the talking points are going to resonate with people. Then on top of it, you have people who have grew up with music who finally start realizing that, oh, music's mind control. These people are doing this. They're all pushing woke ideologies, not realizing music in general is a form of mind control. And they go to Tom McDonald, who's like, well, at least, he's rapping about things I care about. And they don't realize, well, those things you care about, they're gaslighting you with that as well for a bigger goal. And the same thing with the Daily Wire, with their ridiculous movies and stuff. Instead of, explaining to people about mind control, explaining to people, all this stuff that's going on with the gender nonsense, where it really comes from. It comes from Israel. It comes from their teachings. Does Ben Shapiro tell you that over on the Daily Wire? When he's telling you if you don't side with Israel, you're wicked, you're a terrorist. Meanwhile, oh yeah, let's go through the books that specifically tell us all about the genders. You could even do a basic Google search of, you could do the Talmud, you could do some of the books, and you could type in, how many genders and all that stuff, and you could find articles about, oh yeah, and how they had all these different genders in their books that they still read in their temples today. So you can see where the core of it comes from, okay? And I can't say any more here on YouTube because it gets censored. I didn't even have a chance getting a strike talking about these clowns, right? The liberals can talk about them and mock them, but if you actually have the ideologies like me of a conservative, which is, being Christian, most conservatives are Christian, they don't want me exposing these people because these people are gatekeeping them. Okay, and it's too hard for people to wrap their head around. When I talk about peeling the onion back, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, everything, you have to accept that. It's part of the hardest part of the whole awakening process is removing yourself from everything, and it takes time. Okay, I remember when I first woke up, I still was like trying to grasp onto things that I grew up liking. Maybe some of the music, I wasn't really big into music, but still some of the music, some of the people, I'm like, well, they're not compromised, right? I don't see them flowing up the signs and all that stuff. And you just realize, oh my gosh, eventually you'll find something. And you say, yeah, they are all compromised. All the movies, they're compromised. There's an agenda behind it. This mind control. It's not art. It's not art. It's propaganda. Okay, and the same thing can be said about even athletes. I grew up playing sports. And I've become so disenchanted with sports because sports is turned the same way. There's agendas behind everything in sports, right? Covered the stuff with Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, the social engineering they're doing there. I'll probably do more on it as well because people are starting to see how rigged sports are. It's not the same. Nothing's the same once you wake up, and it shouldn't be. But you shouldn't try to hold on to things. The only thing you should hold on to and build is your faith in Jesus Christ because he is the way, the truth, and the life. And everything else in this world is a lie. They lie, they lie, they lie. About everything. All the history we've learned, lies. And there's a reason they get you at a young age, because that's when your brain is absorbing all of this stuff. They want to get you into school and teach you about space and teach you about what the wars were really about. None of it's true. None of it's true, and that's why it's so hard to pull people out of it. But I feel like I've done an okay job over the years pulling people out of it. I'm not the best at it. I don't know if anyone is, right? But we need more independent voices who are speaking against this stuff and it really breaking down how the government agencies work when it comes to creating illusions in your mind, creating we talk about the Matrix all the time, right? Everyone, blue pill, red pill, right? Well, the red pill and the blue pill are both creating a simulated reality. It's all simulated. Now, if you hear people talking about living in a simulation, like, I don't know what that means, living in a simulation. What are you saying? Everything's run by AI? It means all the stuff that you perceive that's going on in the world, it's all simulated. It's all formulated. They created it. They're so far ahead that human beings, and they're so far behind regular common people like us are so far behind because they're building out this to eventually lead us where they want to lead us. And they've figured out what we have to do to get them there. What do we have to do to get them there? Right? And everyone's like, oh, independently, like as if the government doesn't know how insane they sound. As if the government doesn't know by doing the things that they're doing, like hiring more IRS agents and then announcing it on national TV, that it's going to gaslight conservatives and most civilians to be against the government. The government, ignoring stuff with Biden and his son and his laptop and his China. It's all done by design. You never hear about it unless they wanted you to hear about it. Okay? And these people like McDonald and Shapiro are there to gatekeep you from actual truth, to take you and prevent you from going one step higher. And specifically Shapiro, because Shapiro is their golden boy. He's their golden goose, right? He's the conservative guy who speaks on behalf of Israel, okay? And his job is to get all the conservatives out there who think for 1 second about the synagogue of Satan, who interpret scripture properly, to lead them in the wrong direction, to think that what God is saying to you is that if you don't side with Israel, you're going to be killed. He doesn't talk about when Israel turned into a state. He doesn't talk about the teachings. None of it. He just takes the words about Israel in the Bible and God's people, and he expects you to all obey everything that is going on in Israel, or you're defying God. And the conservatives fall for it, hook, line, and sinker, because these guys tickle your ears. There's a reason they're allowed to speak. That's what you should question first. If the government has the amount of control we all know and think they have, what do you think, that they're getting around the algorithm and I'm not? Shapiro's figured out how to get around the algorithm, shows his face every day. If they were like Ben Shapiro, he's really bothering the movement, they'd shut him off quick, okay? They'd shut them all off. It would be like China. There wouldn't be a conservative viewpoint. The reason there is a conservative viewpoint is to try to stop something from naturally occurring, to keep you in an echo chamber, in a vacuum, and to think that what you're doing is the right decision. But it's really the decision that they want you to make, which is separating into conservative and liberal states, which is what is coming. And I'll continue to warn about it. And don't forget how Disease X ties into that, because the mandates are exactly the way they're going to get people with their last straw to move out and go into these states and be sitting ducks for these people. And I'll continue to be, sound the alarm the best I can. Excuse me, I lost my voice there. I could edit that out, but I'm not. Okay, I'm going to keep you posted on what I'm doing with, trying to build out a podcast because I think it's really important. I think it'll be, look, it's not just going to be me, talking. It's going to be I'm going to try to be very creative with it as far as, figuring out things to help people wake up. It's not just going to be complaining and stuff. I really want to do a better job of showing people, breaking things down. And I don't need to show you images all the time. Okay, the YouTube and my website will serve a great purpose for breaking down videos, predictive programming, signs and symbols, and all that stuff. You can't do that in a podcast. However, we could talk about some of the sensationalized news stories, break them down and say, what is the agenda in here? How does it tie into even the Communist Manifesto propaganda? What are they trying to do? What are they trying to make you think? Why? That's what we have to take out of the news, because the news isn't real. It's trying to make you feel a certain way. It's trying to lure you, manipulate you, coerce you into thinking what you're doing is freedom and independent thinking, and it's not. Both sides are controlled. We got to come out of this. Hopefully we can. I'll keep you posted on all that stuff. I thank everybody for being here. I had to do a rant on it when I saw these clowns. Again, it's so cringy. It's so embarrassing. And again, if I ever do a video, if I ever someday I'm like, you know what, guys, I want to rap, right? I mean, when I build out channels, it's hard enough having to do like some of these stupid, goofy things because people are like, oh, he's trying to become a game. You know, a lot of people don't even understand what I'm doing. But the majority of you do at this point, because the majority of you are people who have been listening for a long time. But we're trying to get more people in. But when I build my channels out, you know, I'm not comfortable even doing it. Imagine I came out tomorrow and I was like, hey, I just want to do something different. I'm frustrated. I want to rap for you. I'm sure people in the comments would be like, oh, wow, that's great, Call. You're pretty good. But, you know, even though I'm horrible, they probably would support it because they like the stuff that I put out. I'd want you to spit in my face. I want you to be like, you're embarrassing yourself. Stop, okay? We all need to stop looking at these people as idols. Don't look at me as somebody who you're a fan of, etc. We're all like-minded people trying to pull people out of this before it's too late. Don't be fans of anybody. Don't be fans of me. Don't be fans of these clowns. Not a big deal if you subscribe, if you write nice comments, if you even want to buy a shirt. You're not being a fan of mine. You're helping get people, you know, aware of it. Oh, what's on that person's shirt? Oh, it's a great podcast, a great YouTube channel. Oh, okay, I'll check it out. But other than that, you know, looking up to these people and then being like, oh, whatever they're doing is great. Oh, Ben Shapiro's a great rapper. Oh, that's so cool. It's cringy. And these people are giving you basic MK Ultra propaganda things right to your faces. And you're not going, why are these people rapping? Aren't they supposed to be giving us news and information? Why are these people putting out movies? Because it's part of the beast. These people are literally at the top of the food chain for the New World Order and pretending to be at the top of the food chain who's oppressing them. They are not, trust me. They are doing their bidding and they are succeeding at it, because look at the views that these guys are getting. How many people are buying into this? How many people are being hurt into this fake revolution, which is nothing more than a controlled revolution where a revolution won't occur. These people will follow their fake leaders like Trump, these other politicians, these fake idols like Shapiro, like McDonald, and they're going to be sitting ducks, folks. Again, sorry about the rant. I went off topic. I'll keep you guys updated on what I'm doing, where I'm uploading. I thank you for being here again. Hope you're all well. God bless you as always, and your families.